Has Aaron given you any indication that he'll play beyond 2023?
Look, I don't want to put any words in Aaron's mouth, and you guys are going to have the opportunity at the right time to ask him those specific questions.
Do you expect him to be part of the offseason program, OTAs, going forward?
Again, I'd say I wouldn't want to put any words into Aaron's mouth, as we know all of these workouts right now this time of year are voluntary. So again, at the right time, you guys will be able to talk to him about that.
It already begins. We must tiptoe around the delicate genius.
Well, you got to tiptoe around the league there too, right?
I understand that. It's a combination. You always have to say the workouts are voluntary, but again, they're paying this guy $60 million this year. They gave up a second-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year if he plays in 11 games this year. They dropped 2 spots in round 1 this year. You better expect him to be there, and he better want to be there. That better be something you clear up before you push the button on that trade. And I hope that they had some sort of a conversation with him where they didn't go into this blind. Hey, Aaron, we need to know, before we make this commitment, you got to understand, we're giving up a lot to get you by way of draft capital. Your current employer is being a pain in the ass. As you know, as you've said, they're dragging their feet. They're making it difficult. They're pissing off you. They're pissing off us. We're willing to do this, but there's a couple of things we need to feel comfortable about. Number 1, is this a 1-year deal in your mind, or is it a 2-year deal? Number 2, we really got to get these guys ready. It's not about you being comfortable. It's about them being comfortable with you. You are a superstar to them. You are a god descended from Mount Olympus to them. The sooner you're around them and they realize you're a human being like them, the more comfortable they're going to get. We can't do this during training camp. We have to do this now. If they're not comfortable having a direct conversation like that with him, they shouldn't have traded for him. Because again, if this is going to be another exercise in tiptoeing around the delicate genius, it's not going to work. At some point, there's got to be direct, there's got to be candor, there's got to be communication, there's got to be expectation outlined. And just the fact that he doesn't want to put words in Aaron's mouth, he's afraid he's going to say something that's going to piss Aaron off. He doesn't want to get off on, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that gives me concern, that they're already tiptoeing around the guy. He's a player on your team. That's it. And when you start acting like he's going to have an office and a parking space and we're going to genuflect, and you set yourself up for the Russell Wilson experience from last year.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you too. I mean, listen, they're approaching delicately. You know, he hasn't even gotten in the building yet. They don't want to start throwing out expectations and things like that. And I would think they're going to have these conversations. You know, the big thing is, listen, things going to change a little bit. He's Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a crap what team you are. You're going to go, well, watch what you say a little bit. Aaron Rodgers, if Mahomes came to the team, Brady, whatever. But at some point, you're right, the hot poker's going to come out and go, hey, you're a player. Here we go. We got to get better, right? And again, back to Brady and Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians had the magic touch to do that to Brady, to get them over the edge and make him play the way they wanted him to play to make that offense work. I think the Jets can do that. I do. And I think that's the beauty of having Nathaniel Hackett there, right? He can be that bridge to kind of make it happen. Oh, wait, what, Joe? You can listen to Joe. You can listen to Robert Saleh. He can get that message to Aaron Rodgers the way he thinks it should be done, right? And then I think the biggest thing here where, to your point and all the things you're saying, this is the one thing that's going to be, I think, good about New York for the New York Jets, the New York media. He's not going to get a free pass. He's going to have, if he answers a question with, some cryptic words today or kind of dances around it, New Yorkers are jerks. We all know that. They're going to go, wait, hold on. And they're going to ask him again. He's going to be on, front and center here, where every Jet fan, really every football fan is going to be paying attention to this, really, just to see what he says and how committed it seems like he is to the OTAs, I'm going to be here this offseason type of thing. So I do think that's in the favor of the Jets too, that first off, I don't think Rodgers is an idiot. I think he realizes and can read the room. And then second of all, I think he's going to realize what of a big deal that part of the situation is to everybody, especially up here in New York and the Jets fans today at 2 p.m.
Well, it will be interesting to see if it does get contentious at all or if it is just celebratory right out of the gates. I assume that it's going to be glass half full. I assume that no one's going to
Mostly
be
happy, right?
that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Right. And somebody made the argument weeks ago that this whole idea that the New York media is more harsh, it doesn't matter anymore, it's global, people can interact all the time, people can ask tough questions. There's still a dynamic when you go to a press conference, and there's that elephant in the room question that needs to be asked. In some cities,
Yes.
there's less reluctance for somebody to be the one who asks that question that potentially pisses someone off, and it makes it harder for that person to do their job going forward.
Right.
I feel like in New York, there's less of a collective reluctance to ask that question. Somebody's asking that question.
Exactly.
If it isn't me, it's going to be somebody else. You're not going to, with that subtle pressure, get that question from not being presented to the person. In New York, it's getting presented, including
that's my
will
point.
you be there for off-season workouts?
Right.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like in Green
That's
Bay,
the most important question.
you're right. And Green Bay gets the free pass like you're talking about. You know, in New York, no. I mean, think about some of the people we've had up here in this area. And then, of course, the talk radio and then Geo and Boomer and, you know, Craig Carton and everybody. I mean, it all gets put on blast here. This is still, you know, in the fight for the greatest sports town in America, for sure. I mean, there's a reason there's, you know, 2 basketball teams, 3 hockey teams, 2 baseball teams, and 2 NFL teams rolling around here. People like sports. They're all in on it. So, yeah, that's going to be the interesting. I was going to make a point there, and I lost my way. Oh, here's my point, is just that, yeah, he's not – think about New York and some of the people we've seen. Rich Cimini, right? Remember him? I mean, he pissed everybody off and everywhere for like 6 years, and nothing ever happened. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit more of an in-your-face mentality up here with that kind of stuff, and I don't think they'll shrink in the limelight when it comes time to ask the right question to put a little pressure on them.
Hey, and, you know, it's funny. Oh, boy. For those of us who cover the sport every single day, story gets big, story gets developed, story gets dissected, and then we move on to the next story. That chain of one after another sometimes makes us forget about a link from the past. There are going to be folks up there in the media market that can't wait for their opportunity to ask him questions about topics unrelated to football, unrelated to OTAs. Yeah, some of the talk I heard yesterday on Morning Joe, right out of the gates, they led with, and I'm laughing because we haven't thought about this stuff in a long time, but, you know, Joe Scarborough says, well, it looks like the Jets have found the vaccination for their problems. And one of the other folks said, yes, the Jets did their own research before deciding to trade for Aaron Rodgers. And one thing I forgot about, and I found because he's trafficked in some of these conspiracy theories, which is fine, Don't get mad at us yet. Let me finish my point. He traffics in some of these conspiracy theories to the point where I forget what all he's talked about. And at one point they mentioned 9/11 trutherism, and New York is definitely not the place where you want to be if you're a 9/11 truther. I forgot about DeShone Kizer saying at some point not all that long ago
during the season,
that when he got to Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers asked him whether he believes in 9/11. And first thing that came out of his mouth, you believe in 9/11? And suggested that he do some research on some of the conspiracy theories out there about 9/11. So I don't know that somebody is going to be there to ask point blank, Aaron Rodgers, you're coming to the place where 9/11 happened. I'm asking you right now, yes or no, do you believe it happened? Do you believe it's real? Do you believe it was an inside job or an attack from external adversaries? Wouldn't that be something if somebody asked that question today? That would take some guts.
That I don't think's happening. I don't think that'll happen.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, what?
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
It's out there. DeShone Kizer put it out there. I don't think anybody ever asked him about it in Green Bay. I don't think he was ever asked about it standing in front of his, every week standing in front of the wooden lockers, a spot where he said, don't waste your time reading this crap.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know that he was ever asked that question. I think it's a fair question. Now, whether or not it comes up today, we'll find out. But We are doing this in New Jersey, New York, the area where the worst of the damage happened. And Deshaun Kaiser put it out there, and he's never been asked about it. And I just wonder if it's on somebody's list of possible questions to ask today.
I do too. I do. I have a hard time thinking the sports media will go that way. I don't think he's going to be able to avoid that forever up here in the New York area. At some point, someone's going to ask. But I feel like he'll get a free pass on that stuff today. I do. I think it'll stick to football, unless there's some, the life section of New York Times is there today, or somebody else from some other established non-sports publication is there, and they're more fascinated about the human aspect of this whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it goes that way, but I don't see it going that way today. But at some point, he better be ready, because it's gonna. I mean, it's New York. We got some woke culture up here, all right? There's a little bit of that. We got old school and woke. We got it both. We're a little crazy up here, and he's going to have to deal with both.
It's just so funny. The mere utterance of that word has a derisive connotation. I know that you're not using it derisively,
No, I know.
but so many people do. It's
Right.
become this buzzword that people don't even – there was a great clip a few weeks ago where they asked somebody who is anti-woke what the word even means, and she fumbled for nearly a minute
Right.
trying to explain what it is and how it operates. But regardless, it made me think of something I noticed yesterday, and I just brushed it off as, well, it's a big event. A lot of people are going to want to be there, so they have to have some sort of filtration device to manage the crowd. But the email that came from the Jets yesterday said, to apply to attend the Aaron Rodgers introductory press conference, please click the appropriate link below, fill out the form. You will be notified the status of your credential request by the Jets communications
see, there
staff.
you go.
If approved, please arrive no later than 1 p.m. So I just wonder.
You're from the
I
life
wonder
section of
if
of New York Times. They might say, forget it. Why you want to be here from the life section of the New York Times? They might vet some of those guys.
Yeah, we're gonna restrict attendance to the people who traditionally show up to cover the New York Jets,
Right.
or national media who typically cover the NFL.
Right.
They're looking for somebody who's in that bubble of symbiosis where I have to do my job, but I don't do my job so aggressively that it makes it hard to do my job. I don't go around trying to piss everybody off and be an agitator and a fomenter of dissension or debate or whatever. So now the thing is, if somebody who fully expected to be there got rejected, I wonder if they'll say so. I've yet to see or hear anyone complain that they didn't get in, but I don't remember getting an email like that announcing a press conference that had that right out of the gates. You have to apply and be approved to show up. So I just wonder how aggressive they're going to be. So we'll find out. We'll find out at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Must-see TV at 2 o'clock Eastern today. And I have a feeling tomorrow morning when we do this, Chris,
We'll be talking about
as
it
we
again.
otherwise should be getting people ready for the first day of the draft, I have a feeling we'll have some clips of Aaron Rodgers possibly wearing all black, right? Will he be shaven? Will he not be shaven? Will his hair be short? Will his hair be long? We'll find out answers to all those questions tomorrow. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.